The ongoing drama between two of the league's biggest stars, A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark, has escalated to new heights. Wilson, a dominant force in women's basketball and a two-time WNBA MVP, has finally broken her silence in a way no one saw coming. In an explosive and highly controversial revelation, A'ja Wilson opened up about her feelings toward Caitlin Clark, leaving little room for interpretation. She wants Clark banned permanently from the WNBA. But why does A'ja Wilson feel so strongly about Caitlin Clark? How did their rivalry go from being a competitive tension on the court to a full-blown controversy that's dividing fans, players, and the league itself? Stick with us as we dive deep into the story, explore Wilson's comments, and discuss what this means for the future of the WNBA. Before we break it all down, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment below. Your opinions will be a huge part of this conversation. Are you Team Wilson or Team Clark? Let us know and let's get into it. A'ja Wilson's explosive comments, the video leak. The controversy started with a seemingly simple video leak, but it quickly snowballed into something much bigger. A year-old clip of A'ja Wilson resurfaced, where she can be heard speaking candidly about white privilege in women's basketball, specifically referencing players like Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers. Wilson, during a conversation with her Las Vegas Aces teammate Kelsey Plum, didn't mince her words. She directly referenced how Clark's white privilege played a role in her meteoric rise within the WNBA. She's good at basketball, obviously, Wilson says in the video, but she understands her privilege, and that's what pushes her over the top. For many viewers, this statement came off as backhanded, a suggestion that Clark's success wasn't fully earned, or at the very least, that her talent is amplified because of her racial background. The leak has since gone viral, with fans rushing to social media to express their thoughts, often taking sides in the growing rift between two of the league's brightest stars. A'ja Wilson, who has been vocal about issues of race and privilege in the past, clearly feels strongly about the disparity in attention and support that players like Clark and Bueckers receive compared to their black counterparts. The video opened up a broader conversation about race in women's sports, specifically how white athletes are often more marketable, receive more endorsement deals, and are elevated in ways that black athletes are not. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom with a target on her back. Caitlin Clark's rise to fame has been nothing short of meteoric. Coming off an extraordinary college career at Iowa, where she shattered records and became a household name, Clark transitioned seamlessly into the WNBA in 2024, joining the Indiana Fever. Her rookie season was one for the ages. Clark not only set the record for most assists in a season, but also became the face of the Fever, rejuvenating a struggling franchise and leading them to the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. Her electrifying performance on the court, combined with her natural leadership abilities, has drawn comparisons to some of the greatest names in basketball, including Steph Curry, Diana Taurasi, and Larry Bird. Her brand of basketball, high energy, three-point heavy, and exciting, was an instant hit with fans, leading to record-breaking viewership and packed arenas whenever the Fever played. But with her success came a growing undercurrent of tension. While Clark became the darling of the media and was praised for her talent, many of her peers in the WNBA, particularly black athletes, began to feel as though her rise was indicative of a larger problem within the sport, the issue of racial privilege. This sentiment simmered for months, but it's clear from Wilson's comments that resentment had been building for some time. The backlash against Wilson's comments. Once the video of Wilson's remarks leaked, the backlash was swift and intense. Fans of Caitlin Clark were quick to jump to her defense, arguing that her talent speaks for itself and that Wilson's comments were nothing more than jealousy. Social media became a battleground, with Clark's supporters accusing Wilson of using race to undermine Clark's accomplishments. Hashtags like #StopAjaHate began trending as fans criticized Wilson for what they perceived as playing the race card. However, Wilson wasn't without her supporters. Many fans and commentators noted that she was bringing up a valid point about the racial disparities within the WNBA and sports in general. Black athletes, despite often being the backbone of their teams, are frequently overlooked in favor of white athletes who are more marketable. Some pointed to examples of endorsement deals and media coverage, where white athletes like Clark and Bueckers were given preferential treatment despite the equal or superior talent of their black counterparts. It's important to note that Wilson's comments weren't necessarily about diminishing Clark's abilities. Instead, she was pointing out that Clark's rise had been aided by factors outside of her control, namely her race. But the way Wilson framed her argument, especially in such a public way, ignited a firestorm that has only continued to grow. The fallout, Las Vegas Aces in turmoil. The timing of the video leak couldn't have been worse for A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces. The team, which had been dominant throughout much of the season, was facing a playoff crisis. After dropping the first 2 games of their series against the New York Liberty, tensions were already high. Head coach Becky Hammon was seen yelling at her players on the sidelines, and rumors of internal discord began to swirl. Now, with the added drama of Wilson's comments, the Aces are in full crisis mode. Many fans and analysts are wondering if the team's struggles are tied to the off-court drama that's been brewing. With Wilson being such a central figure on the team, her actions and words carry significant weight. Some speculate that the Aces are struggling to focus on basketball, with so much attention now diverted to the controversy surrounding their star player. Coach Hammon, known for her no-nonsense approach, has been relatively silent on the issue, but it's clear that this is a distraction the team can't afford. If the Aces are going to turn their season around, they'll need to find a way to block out the noise and focus on the task at hand. But with Wilson's comments continuing to dominate the news cycle, that may be easier said than done. Caitlin Clark's silence, strategic or ignorant? Amidst all the chaos, one person has remained notably silent: Caitlin Clark herself. Since the video leak, Clark has not made any public statements addressing Wilson's comments or the controversy that's engulfing her. For some, this silence is seen as a strategic move, a way for Clark to rise above the fray and focus on her game. Others, however, feel that Clark should speak out, either to defend herself or to acknowledge the issues of privilege and representation that have been raised. It's a tricky situation for Clark. On the one hand, responding to Wilson's comments could pour more fuel on the fire and further divide the fan base. On the other hand, remaining silent could be interpreted as ignoring the very real issues that Wilson brought up. It's a delicate balance, and so far, Clark has chosen to stay out of the spotlight. Whether that's the right decision remains to be seen. For now, Clark's focus seems to be on preparing for the 2025 WNBA season, where expectations for her are even higher than they were during her rookie year. With a full off-season to work on her game, fans are eager to see how much she'll improve and whether she can lead the Fever to even greater heights. But with the controversy still hanging over her, it's unclear how much of an impact it will have on her performance moving forward. The role of social media in amplifying the drama. One of the most significant aspects of this controversy is the role that social media has played in amplifying it. The leaked video of Wilson's comments was posted on X, formerly Twitter, where it quickly gained millions of views and sparked a heated debate among fans. Social media platforms like X, Instagram, and TikTok have become battlegrounds for fans of both Wilson and Clark, with each side fiercely defending their favorite player. For better or worse, social media has become a key part of the sports landscape, and this controversy is a perfect example of how quickly things can spiral out of control in the digital age. While platforms like X allow fans to engage with their favorite players and teams, they also provide a space for toxicity to thrive. The comments section of the video leak is filled with both support for Wilson and vitriolic attacks on her, as well as on Clark, who has been accused of benefiting from a system that marginalizes Black athletes. It's a reminder of the power that social media holds in shaping public perception. While the actual conflict between Wilson and Clark may not have been as explosive without the viral nature of the video, the platforms have given fans a space to voice their opinions, for better or for worse. What does this mean for the WNBA? As the WNBA continues to grow in popularity, controversies like this one, as the WNBA continues to grow in popularity, controversies like the one between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark hold immense potential to either positively or negatively shape the league's future. On one hand, this situation has generated a lot of buzz and attention, bringing the league into the mainstream conversation in ways that have previously been difficult to achieve. However, the nature of the controversy, rooted in issues of race, privilege, and representation, could also divide the fan base and create further tensions among players. Wilson's comments have opened up important discussions about the racial dynamics in sports, particularly in women's basketball. The debate surrounding white privilege and how it affects marketability, endorsement deals, and fan support is not new. Still, it has been brought into sharper focus by Wilson's remarks about Clark. The WNBA, which has long prided itself on being a progressive league, now finds itself grappling with these issues in a very public way. What's at stake here is more than just the reputation of two players. The league itself must decide how to address the broader issues of race and privilege that Wilson's comments have brought to light. Will the WNBA take steps to ensure more equity in the way players are marketed and supported? Or will it continue to promote players like Clark, who, despite their undeniable talent, may also be benefiting from systems of privilege that favor them over their Black peers? As fans and players continue to debate the issue, one thing is clear: this controversy is far from over. The upcoming season will likely see even more tension as the league navigates the fallout from Wilson's comments, Clark's silence, and the ongoing discussions about race in women's sports. In the meantime, fans will be watching closely to see how the WNBA handles what could be a turning point for the league. Wilson's frustration, a reflection of broader issues in the WNBA. A'ja Wilson's frustration isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about the broader issues that Black women in sports have been facing for decades. For Wilson, Clark's rise to prominence has brought to the forefront the systemic disparities that have long existed within women's sports, particularly in terms of media coverage, endorsement deals, and fan support. Black athletes, despite being some of the most talented and hardworking players in the league, are often overlooked in favor of their white counterparts, who are deemed more marketable or palatable for mainstream audiences. This is not a new problem, and it's not unique to the WNBA. Across all sports, there is a well-documented history of Black athletes being marginalized, while white athletes receive more attention and opportunities. For Wilson, Clark represents the latest example of this disparity, a talented player who is receiving an outsized amount of attention, not just because of her skills on the court, but also because of her race. Wilson's comments, therefore, are about more than just Clark. They're about a system that continues to favor white athletes over Black ones, despite the contributions that Black athletes make to the league. And while Wilson's words have sparked controversy, they have also opened up an important conversation about how the WNBA, and sports in general, can become more equitable. Caitlin Clark's role in the controversy. For her part, Caitlin Clark has remained silent amidst the firestorm that Wilson's comments have sparked. While some may see this as a wise decision, staying out of the controversy and focusing on her game, others believe that Clark's silence is problematic. As someone who is benefiting from the system that Wilson is criticizing, some argue that Clark has a responsibility to acknowledge the privileges that have helped her rise to fame. However, Clark's situation is complicated. While she may indeed benefit from certain privileges, her talent and hard work cannot be denied. Clark's rookie season was nothing short of spectacular, and she has earned her place among the league's top players. For Clark, the challenge now is to navigate this controversy without undermining her own accomplishments, while also acknowledging the validity of the issues that Wilson has raised. Clark's silence may be strategic, but it's also a reminder of how difficult it can be to address issues of race and privilege in sports. For many athletes, these issues are deeply personal, and speaking out can be risky. But for Clark, who is now at the center of this controversy, staying silent may not be a sustainable option in the long term. The future of the rivalry. As the 2025 WNBA season approaches, all eyes will be on Wilson and Clark. Their rivalry, which has been simmering for some time, is now at a boiling point, and it's likely that their next matchup will be one of the most highly anticipated games of the season. For fans, this rivalry represents more than just two talented players going head-to-head. It's a microcosm of the larger issues facing the league. Will Wilson and Clark be able to put the controversy behind them and focus on basketball? Or will their rivalry continue to be overshadowed by the issues of race and privilege that have come to define it? And how will the league respond to the growing tensions between its players? These are the questions that will shape the upcoming season, and the answers will have far-reaching implications for the future of the WNBA. In the end, what's at stake is more than just a championship. It's the future of the league itself. The WNBA has the opportunity to address these issues head-on, creating a more equitable and inclusive environment for all of its players. But doing so will require more than just words. It will require action. And for Wilson, Clark, and the rest of the league, the time for action is now. The WNBA's role in addressing racial disparities. The WNBA has long been a progressive league, known for its players' activism on social issues, and its commitment to diversity and inclusion. However, the controversy between Wilson and Clark has exposed some of the deeper racial disparities that still exist within the league. For many Black players, the issue isn't just about Clark. It's about a system that has historically favored white athletes, giving them more opportunities for endorsements, media attention, and fan support. The WNBA now finds itself at a crossroads. The league has the chance to take meaningful steps toward addressing these disparities, ensuring that all players, regardless of race, are given equal opportunities to succeed. This could involve everything from changing the way players are marketed to providing more support for Black athletes, who often face additional challenges both on and off the court. At the same time, the league must be careful not to alienate its fan base, which has grown significantly in recent years, thanks in large part to players like Clark. Striking the right balance will be key to ensuring the league's continued growth while also addressing the legitimate concerns raised by players like Wilson. As the dust settles from Wilson's comments, the WNBA is left to grapple with the fallout. For A'ja Wilson, this controversy represents a critical moment in her career, one that could either strengthen her legacy as an advocate for racial equity or further divide her from fans who see her comments as divisive. For Caitlin Clark, the challenge will be to navigate the controversy with grace, acknowledging the issues at hand without diminishing her own accomplishments. Ultimately, the future of the WNBA may hinge on how the league handles this situation. With the right approach, the league could emerge stronger, more unified, and more inclusive. But if the controversy is allowed to fester, it could undermine the progress that has been made in recent years, both in terms of the league's popularity and its commitment to social justice. As we look ahead to the 2025 season, one thing is clear: the rivalry between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark is far from over. And while their next matchup on the court will undoubtedly be one for the ages, the real battle may be taking place off the court, as the WNBA works to address the deeper issues of race, privilege, and representation that have been brought to light.